Yeah, hello. Wow. It's another Wednesday, and I want to welcome all our viewers from all over the world. Thank you for joining me today on relationship, marriage, and life issues with Joel. And I know this series is going to be an exciting one. And just before I go on, I just want to quickly wish everyone a happy new month. It's the 1st of December 2021. I mean, it's been an amazing year with a lot of, things going on in our lives, going on in our businesses, going on in our families. And for so many people, I know it has been a very challenging one. But I believe one thing is certain. We always say, tough times don't last. Only tough people last. And I believe that you and I, we are, some of the tough people in the world, and we're going to go through all that is going on. I mean, with the COVID-19, the new variant that is bringing a lot of panic to the world. I mean, leaders and nations are beginning to take a lot of decisions about their borders, and it's understandable. But one thing we're going to say, I want to encourage everyone out there: stay strong, stay safe. We are going to get through this. We have been built to last. Something about the human spirit, it doesn't break that easy. The human spirit does not break that easy. You and I, we have the inner capacity, the inner grace, the inner strength, to overcome all of life's struggle. Thank you for joining me again. It's relationship, marriage, and life issues with Joel Osebor. And today we're going to be looking at, in the next 30 minutes, a very exciting topic that would have knowing your love language in a stress-charged world. Knowing your love language, or speaking your love language in a stress-charged world. You and I can tell that our world today is filled with so much stress. There is so much pressure. People are just thinking how they will get by. The cost of living is increasing. The cost of food, even basic needs. The prices are so high. You want to talk about housing. You want to talk about basic needs at home. The prices are so high, and it's really bringing a lot of stress and fatigue to people. It's not just only in the developed economy, also in countries that are developing in different parts of the world. People are going through stress. Government are stressed. The Omicron is another big stress to the health sector globally. So our life is filled with stress. And I want to put it in two levels. I say we have what I call the macro stress, which is global. Everybody is going through it. And the micro stress. Micro stress has to do with what you are going through as an individual. Then moving from being an individual to a family. The stress that you're going through, the struggles, the pain, could be health challenges, financial challenges, career challenge, even technology challenges. Many people were locked. We were all on lockdown for a long time, and that brought a lot of issues on mental health to people. So you see that in our world, we're going through a lot of stress. There's so much stress going on, and we just need to know how to go through this and to manage it. And a big question that came to my mind is, amidst this stress, we need to live up to our responsibilities. We are relational beings. Many of us have friends at a platonic level. Some of us are in courtship. Some of us are married. Some are fathers. Some are mothers, uncles. And the demand of relationship is huge. You're thinking about what to eat. You're also thinking about your emotional commitment. So commitments are different fronts. We have emotional commitment, you have physical commitment, you have financial commitment, you have spiritual commitment. All of this commitment that we need to show up for can be also very stressful and draining. But today we just want to look at some simple ways we can bring freshness in our relationship. Some simple ways in the midst of the stress, in the midst of the challenges of life, we can just find that place where we can find serenity, we can find peace, we can find calmness. And one word that brings that is love. Wow. I was discussing with a friend this evening, and he said, because of the stress and all of the struggles and challenges that everybody is going through in the world, selfishness is becoming is becoming part of our lifestyle. It has always been there, but right now everybody's just looking out for him or herself. People are just looking out for what benefits them. People just want to, what will help them go through each day, and not necessarily thinking about what the other person might be thinking. But I tell you, if we don't pay attention to the people who are around us, we don't pay attention to the people that are very close to us, especially at an emotional level, we can add more stress to our stress. During the lockdown, it was discovered there was so much divorce. The rate of divorce was very high. Because what I want to talk about today may not have been given the attention that it truly needs in every area of our lives. So I believe as we go through this discussion in the next few minutes, it's going to be of great benefit to somebody out there that is listening, and to those that are going to have the opportunity to listen to this in the near future. We want to look at just simple ways to strengthen relationship this evening. Just knowing our love languages. A very well-known author there, Dr. Gary Chapman, wrote a book on the 5 love languages, and it's a bestseller, selling over 20 million copies of that book, and it has helped so many couples, to bring freshness and to bring strength to their relationship. I want us to be looking at, in the midst of the stress and pressures, caring for children, caring for a loved one, being a caregiver, and so on. How do we have more connection? How do you have more connection and less tension? Stress brings a lot of tension. So we're just going to be looking at this from the perspective of how do we use the 5 love language to, increase connection and to reduce tension. And one good thing again about knowing how to just speak in your love language in times of stress or in a stress chat word is, once you understand your love language and you understand the love language of your friend, your spouse, your partner, your child, your business partner, it creates more laughter and it takes out anxiety. There's so much anxiety. People are afraid. And one thing we've forgotten is 2 can chase many. 2 can achieve more than what one person can achieve. So when we know how to speak our love language, it reduces a lot of anxiety and it creates more laughter. Then another good thing we want to just talk about this evening is how, when we speak our love language, or we understand the love language of our partner or our spouses, there's going to be more harmony. There's going to be less frustration. The stress we are going through is enough. The global stress we are going through, the news, the things that are happening around us is a lot of frustration. But understanding how to speak our language, it helps us to bring more harmony into our relationship. The truth is this: relationships don't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. And we don't want it to be more complicated. In addition to the stress we're going through, we don't want our relationship to be complicated. That's why it's important we know how to speak the love language of our partners, and they also know our own love language. And when we don't know the love language of our partners, there's a lot of disconnection. And it adds, a lot of anxiety. It adds a lot of tension. It adds a lot of frustration to the stress that we are already going through. I believe all that we're going to discuss this evening will be of good, good resource for us as we talk about how we can speak our love language in a stress-charged world. Wow. Okay. Now. All right. So I'm just going to go straight into the different languages we can speak. Like I said, is an extract from Gary Chapman on the 5 love language. So we're just going to see how we can use these 5 love languages, to reduce stress in our lives. Now, the first question we just want to ask is, what are the 5 love languages? The love language basically talks about how you can communicate. Like we always say, the biggest challenge in any relationship, whether it's a marital relationship, a business relationship, a spiritual relationship, a parental relationship, it's communication. Communication is 90%, even up to 95% issue that we all have in our communication, in our relationship. If we don't know how to communicate with one another, we don't understand the perspective of the other person, or we are assuming wrongly about what the other party is talking about, is going to bring a lot of challenge in our relationship. So the 5 love language is just ways you and I can understand what our partners, our friend, our relation, our spouse, our children are talking about. And we're going to go through these 5 love language quickly. The first one is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. What does words of affirmation mean? Words of affirmation is about expressing affection through spoken word, praise, or appreciation. You and I can tell there is no other time in our world that we need this. There is a lot of bashing we are already receiving from everywhere and anywhere. We need an environment, we need an atmosphere where spoken words can bring out the best in us. Many of us grew up in an environment where we have never been affirmed of who we are. Words of affirmation brings out the best in people. They are going through stress. Your husband is going through stress. Your wife is going through stress. Your partner is going through stress. Your kids are going through stress. Your siblings, your family members are going through stress. They don't want you to add to that stress by using negative words. So words of affirmations are very powerful resource you and I can use. We can speak into the lives of our loved ones in this stress charged world. Our world is stressful. It is stress charged. Every you step out of your house, even within your house, you can have a lot of stress there. But words of affirmation will always encourage everyone. When this is someone's primary love language, they enjoy kind words and encouragement. They also enjoy uplifting quotes, love notes, and cute text messages. You can make this person's day by complimenting them or pointing out what they do well. What this means is you need to know your partner. Are they the language that they understand? Or when you affirm them with positive words, with spoken words, how do they respond to you? For me, that's one of my strong love language. I love words of affirmation. I know how to give it to people. I also expect people to give that to me. But at some point in life, you get to a point, people might not be able to give you words of affirmation. But what do you need to do? You have to build your own self-confidence. You have to be strong within. Your success starts from within before it is expressed without. So, but once your partner, your wife, your friend, your child, their love language is words of affirmation, give it to them. Give it to them. Say it to them. Write them love notes. Send them cute text messages. Give them uplifting quotes. I tell you, it will bring freshness into that relationship. So discover, just take time to study people in your area of influence, your circle of influence. Take time to know what they love. Some people don't love words of affirmation. They think you're flattering them. So for such persons, you don't need to use words of affirmation for them. That may not be their own love language. But just understand people in your area of influence, your circle of influence that are close to you. If you observe that this person appreciates words of affirmation, please give it to him, give it to her, give it to that child, to that young boy. Let them know that the best is in them and the best is yet to come for them. I tell you, it would take a lot of pressure, a lot of tension and anxiety from them. The second spoken love language you and I can use to reduce the tension, the stress, and anxiety in our life is quality time. I tell you, this is my wife's number one. She loves quality time. Both of us can be in the house. I work from home, and she will tell me, baby, we don't spend time together. I'll be wondering, I'll be thinking, but you and I, we have been in this house. She said, yes, we're in this house, but you are working, and I'm upstairs taking care of the kids. We don't spend time together. I said, oh, goodness. All right, we're going to spend time together. I'm going to take an hour off work. I'm going to take this, just because that's her love language. She's going through so much stress from childcare. And if that will help relieve her stress, I'm going to give it to her. So we need to understand what the other person that we're in a relationship with wants us to say to them through our love, through their own love language. It's not my own love language. It must be about that. That's why self-sacrifice is very important in trying to get people, to understand this, what we're talking about today on love language. Wow. Okay. Let's move. Let's make progress. So, quality time. For those who identify with quality time as their love language, love and affection are expressed through undivided attention. You must give this person an undivided attention. It's important. You don't want to be with that person and your the phone is coming in between you, the tablet is coming, your eyes are not, you're not looking straight into the eye of that person. You must be an active listener. You must make sure that you make eye contact, affirm what they are saying, and refrain from offering advice. People that love quality time, they are not asking for your advice. They just want you to be there, have a listening ear, and just be around them. If this is the love language of your spouse, of your partner, I tell you, it's going to help reduce the stress they are already going through. People with this love language are looking for quality over quantity. They feel love if you are present and focus on them when you are together. You see, once you understand that this person we are talking about loves quality time, please give it to him or her. And it's going to reduce all the stress you can ever imagine that they are going through. The number 3 spoken language of love, which you can help your partner or help an individual to reduce the stress in their life, is acts of service. Act of service. For acts of service, a person feels loved and appreciated when someone does nice things for them, such as helping with the dishes, running errands, vacuuming, or putting gas in the car. They love when people do little things for them, and often can be found doing this act of service for others. Wow. Acts of service is a spoken love language you can use to reduce stress for someone. And you can tell that a lot of people are going through stress. They go to work, come back from work, take care of kids, take care of that. There's external stress, there's internal stress. Just an act of service will take off that stress and pressures from them. The world is filled with so much stress, it's charged with so much challenges. Act of service will help somebody overcome any form of stress in their lives. Okay, we're making progress. We're making progress. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about now is receiving gift. That's another way you can help somebody reduce stress. Giving gifts is symbolic of love and affection for someone with this love language. They treasure not only the gift itself, but also the time and effort the gift giver put into it. That's why for some women, it's not about how expensive the gift is. It's just the thought of you going to get them a gift. So some people, it takes a lot of stress out of their life. They also do not necessarily expect large or expensive gifts. It's more what is behind the gift that appeals to them. In other words, when you take the time to pick out a gift specifically for them, it tells them you really know them. This is important. People with this love language can often remember every little gift they have received from their loved ones because it makes such an impact on them. Just giving gift, receiving gifts to just giving gifts to someone can take a lot of stress for somebody. Then the last one we'll talk about is physical touch. For me, I always say sometimes this is my number one love language, physical touch. A person with this love language feels love through physical affection. Aside from sex, take note of that. Because sometimes we think physical touch will lead to sex. It doesn't have to. So aside from sex, those who have physical touch as their primary love language feel love when their partner holds their hand, touches their arm, or gives them a massage at the end of the day, for example. So, physical touch is a love language that can take out stress from your loved ones. The idea of a perfect date might include cuddling on the couch with a glass of wine and a good movie. They simply want to be close to their partner physically. These 5 love languages can reduce stress. I tell you, it can reduce so much stress in our lives. And in this episode of Relationship, Marriage, and Life Issues with Joel Osebor, I'm just bringing it to the surface again that we should consider this 5 love language. It takes away stress. There's so much stress going on in our world. We don't want to allow the external stress or the macro stress to impact negatively on our relationships, be it business relationship, marital relationship, parental relationship, spiritual relationship, whatever kind of relationship that we find ourselves. Let's use these 5 love languages. They will help reduce tension, reduce anxiety, reduce fear, reduce stress in our lives. And I hope this has been useful. This information we've shared this evening is useful, reminding you and I that we can never run away from stress, but we can always overcome stress. It's just the strategy that we adopt. And I've discovered that when we adopt this 5 simple love language strategy, we can always overcome any form of human stress that we are going through. It's my prayer that every relationship that has been strained, as you apply these principles from the 5 love languages, it will reduce all the tension in that relationship. Whether it be with a child, with a husband, with a wife, with a business partner, with a neighbor, with a friend, just understanding how they want love to be spoken to them, how they want to understand love, is going to help you manage your relationship with them. I want to thank you for joining me in today's series. Next week, I'm going to be here with a special guest, and we're going to be looking at the subject of divorce, the impact of divorce in our life, the legal, the physical, and spiritual impact of divorce. You don't want to miss that. A lot of couples are going into divorce on a daily basis. It's increasing as high as 31% plus. But I believe through Relationship, Marriage, and Life Issues with Joel Osebor, as we discuss the subject and we engage the help of God through prayers, we know that God is going to help troubled marriages, overcome all their struggles and their challenges. Thank you for joining me every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. I'm just here to just share some thought, even with a guest, on how we can be fruitful in all forms of our relationships and how we can overcome all of life's challenges. I pray that the power of God, the wisdom of God, will influence your mind, will help you to forgive. I just hear in my spirit, for someone is being an issue of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness can hinder the flow of this 5 love language in your heart. I pray that God will heal you from every hurt, from every disappointment in that relationship. You'll be healed in that marital relationship, healed in that parental relationship, healed in that business relationship, in that spiritual relationship. Whatever relationship you are being in that has broken your heart, that has caused you to feel you helpless and hopeless, I bring hope into your heart today that God cares about you, that God loves you, and He wants to bring out the best of you and the best in your relationship. He's going to bring relationship your way that would help you rejoice, get you excited, and living the life that God has chosen for you. Please reach out to us. You can call us on the phone numbers we have on the screen anytime. We'll be available to receive your call. for counseling, premarital counseling, to pray through different issues of life so that you can live that life God has chosen for you. Until we meet again next week, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time Zone, your relationship is blessed. It will flourish, it will grow, it will be fruitful, and will bring out the best of you and your partners. Amen. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.